Howdy! I'm once again talking about EDP445 because the dude just keeps popping up sporadically like a whack-a-mole. And you gotta keep batting him down and he'll pop up in a different hole and he just will not go away. But basically, if you don't know anything about this dude, he got caught in a sting operation a couple years ago at this point, trying to meet up with someone who was well under the age of 18 for what he says was to get a cupcake, which is why people refer to it as the cupcake incident. And now I don't need to explain to you that what he did was very illegal, and ever since then he's kind of just been, sporadically popping up on the internet trying to see if everyone forgot, seeing if he can come back online or whatever. But there's like this whole hate group that is formed, this literal angry mob, minus the pitchfork and torches. They do it online. They just hunt the dude down, trying to figure out what he's up to currently. They find the places he works at, and they attempt to get him fired from all those places. The houses he's in, and hotels and whatnot, and attempt to get him evicted and kicked out of those. They do it with everything in his life. They've even, I think, expanded to harassing his friends and family, which is messed up. That you shouldn't have gone that far. Honestly, harassing someone and trying to ruin their life online isn't good. But, most of the stuff that's happening to him, he did to himself. And it seems like he himself is finally coming to that belief also, because he uploaded an official apology video onto his website. And it is 8 minutes and 52 seconds long. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I wouldn't ever want you to sit through all that. I'm just going to show you the important parts.
But with that being said, I want to take full responsibility for my actions that happened on April 21st, 2021. The entire YouTube shit that went down, the entire YouTube incident, you know what I mean, that went the fuck down. I'm not even going to get into it. You guys already know what the fuck happened. I'm taking full responsibility, full accountability for my actions. You know what I mean? I have taken the proper measures and the proper steps forward to seek out help. To try to, get my head on right and to make sure that, in the distant future that I do not hurt, my loving, caring, supporting friends and family.
All things considered, this is one of the better YouTuber apologies I've ever seen. He doesn't start off crying, he doesn't start off holding a puppy, he doesn't even start off with a ukulele in his hands. The dude's just taking accountability and realizing what he did was wrong. It took him like 2 years, but he's finally getting around to it. Now, what he did was obviously wrong. Jesus Christ, my eyeball. There's something in my eye. Push through it. Ugh. Obviously, what he did was very messed up, extremely illegal also, and just a terrible thing to do. And him recognizing that and apologizing for it doesn't excuse him from that, but it is one of the proper steps in the right direction. And it seems like this is maybe his full circle, the 5th stage of grief. He's finally went through all the stages of grief. Denial, acceptance, whatever they are. Let me look it up. Yeah, that checks out. I think this dude actually did go through the 5 stages of grief, and now he is on... now he's on the acceptance part. This is turning out to be a hell of a character development, actually.
I've received numerous fucking messages, screenshots from my friends and family. You know what I mean? Them getting harassed, them getting bullied, them getting fucked with by people. You know what I mean? And it's all my fault. You know what I mean? It's completely my fault that...
And that right there is very sad to me. It's always sad whenever friends and family of someone who does something wrong end up getting harassed and death threats and whatnot just because they're loosely associated with the person who did something bad, even though they themselves did nothing wrong whatsoever. But he sees this as it being his fault solely, which it is, because if he didn't do what he did, none of that would have ever occurred. So, I don't want to give him credit and say, like, congratulations, big man, and pat him on the back, but this genuinely is a good apology video.
So many people that I let down, so many people that I betrayed their trust, with my actions, you know what I mean? And, the thing for me is that I don't want to come on here, cry, boo-hoo, beg for people's forgiveness, you know what I mean? The only thing that I'm trying to go for in the distant future is redemption, you know what I mean? The only thing that I'm trying to go for is to restore honor and to restore a positive outlook on my name.
Did this guy take a master class in apology videos? Because he's saying everything right. He's doing everything that you would need to do to make an apology video acceptable. He's not crying. He's acknowledging that he's not gonna cry on here. He doesn't want your pity points. He's not here to ask for forgiveness. He's here to acknowledge what he did was wrong, accept it, and tell everybody that he's working on being able to get that forgiveness and have a more positive outlook on his life and try to turn things around as best as he can. I wanna tear him a new one, like I have in all the previous videos where he tries to come back and do something silly. But this is just, he's doing the responsible thing. Like, yeah, he still sexted with an underage, or what he thought was an underage girl, and tried to meet up with her and do things with this underage girl, which is terrible and unforgivable act. Who would have thought that he was gonna do this?
It's been pretty fucked up. It's been a long ass fucking road. You know what I mean? A long, scary, dangerous road. You know, and again, like I mentioned before, I have nobody to blame but myself. So, like I mentioned before, man, I'm seeking the proper help that I need to seek out. I am doing whatever I can to make sure that this does not happen again.
You really can't ask for anything more in an apology video. You know, he says he has no one else to blame but himself. He's not trying to put it off on somebody else. He's not trying to do something to take your attention away from the fact that he's not really apologizing and like playing the banjo over in the corner or something. He's just apologizing. Now, obviously, him apologizing and then him taking the steps afterwards to better himself and actually going to get more help and, you know, developing as a person to actually be this idealistic version of himself that he says he's aiming to be, that's two different things. You know, he's talking about it, but we got to see if his actions are actually going to speak for themselves.
I know actions speak louder than words, you know what I mean? And trust me, I'm a fucking clear believer of that. I'm a true believer of that, you know what I mean? You can sit back and talk about it all goddamn day, but until you actually, you know, show that you're making improvements, you know what I mean? It's like, what's the fucking point, you know?
And I do want to say, even though he says he believes in actions speak louder than words and all this kind of stuff, you do got to wait and see if he actually follows through on it, because talking about taking action over talking is just talk, and we got to wait and see if he's actually going to act on it. So I'm not going to toot his horn too much. I'll give him credit for making a proper, decent apology video, but I'm not going to say he's a changed man and we should all forgive him. I don't think he's gone close enough to, you know, have that happen yet. The deeds he did are pretty much unmake-upable. You can't really do enough actions to make up for trying to have sex with a minor. It's just a truly unbelievable act and disgusting act. Very foul and disgusting. But I am very curious to see what he means by the actions he's going to do and how he's going to develop himself and try to turn into a better person, spread his wings and turn into a butterfly or whatnot. I'm just very curious to see what the end goal of this whole thing is going to be.
You guys have to understand. I know people are like, you know, why did it take you so long to make this apology video? What took you so long? It's what, 2.5, 3 fucking years? Like, what the fuck? You guys have to understand. For the longest of time, I've been talking to different lawyers, right? Trying to get an understanding of what to say and what not to say. This has been a long time coming. I've been trying to fucking prepare for this shit. You know what I mean? So it's not like, you know, there's rumors out there saying that, I don't have any remorse for what I did. I am completely fucking remorseful. I have done everything that I can to try to apologize to my friends, to my family, to the ones that this hurt the most. You know what I mean? So for you guys to sit back and say that I'm not remorseful, that couldn't be any more further from the truth.
Well, you gotta understand, EDP, from an outsider's perspective, someone who isn't in the situation, it did look like you were very remorseless because you weren't saying anything about the situation. You quite literally were radio silent. For 2 years now, over 2 years, you didn't say anything about what happened. So why would you expect people to think you're remorseful when you're just now coming out with an apology? Sure, maybe some people are going to think you are now, but Up to this point, no, because there was no indication that you even felt bad for doing it. And you couldn't even blame them if they thought you were going to try to do it again because you just didn't address the situation.
Again, I take full responsibility, full accountability for what happened a few years ago. And I am taking the proper steps to living a better life, to seeking out proper treatment, to getting help, and to making sure that this does not happen again.
But I do gotta say this again, apologies are like band-aids. You can just rip them right off. They're kind of not really, they don't serve much of a purpose. They cover up the wound, the bad, nasty wound. But that's really all they do. The wound's still there. It's still going to forever be there. Even after it heals, it'll still leave a little scar. And this is very similar to his situation because he committed that terrible, atrocious act. That's always going to be there. It's never going to be less atrocious. But him attempting to better himself as a person, it's a good thing to see. And it is, it's doable. He could turn a new leaf. We're just going to have to keep a close eye on it and see how it turns out. But I'll catch you in the next one.